Hello, hello, brothers and sisters. Welcome to our show titled Speak of Africa. For the show of today, we're going to talk about what is trending in Central Africa and West Africa. And this has to do with violence. There's a lot of violence taking place, and this violence tends to happen between herders and farmers. Herders are pastoralists, people who rear cattle. They make their living by selling livestock. Then farmers are people who are sedentary. They have farms where they grow crops. So these two groups are always at loggerheads. They're in conflict. And the conflict we're going to focus on today has to do with the conflict in the northwest region of Ambazonia, what people call La République du Cameroon. A few days ago, we got news that some people were attacked in Gidado, in Ndu area in the northwest. People are suspecting that the people who attacked and killed these people, these are Mbororo. So you may not have heard the word Mbororo. Mbororo, these are a group of the Fulani people. You have them all over. You have them in Central African Republic, you have them in the northwest, you have them in Nigeria, you have them in Chad, and you also have them in the north of Cameroon. So these Mbororo people, they tend to be people who live by rearing cattle. Then they make a lot of money from this livestock, and they do a lot of grazing, open grazing. So this is a tradition for them for a very long time. But now the farmlands are smaller, so there's some kind of competition between the people who need land to do grazing and people who need land to do farming. So these two groups are always coming into conflict over land use. And this is what is creating a problem in the northwest region of Ambazonia. So Ambazonia is back in the news. If you remember, when we started this show, January 15, 2018, we came up with a video which we aired on the Ambazonia crisis. At the time, they were looking at it like an Anglophone problem. Even though it started in 2016, we talked about it, and our initial video, we decided to focus on the Anglophone problem. We look at the root causes and the effects. Back then, things have really changed. From 2018, when you look at the crisis, which started in 2016, it's almost 10 years. So this crisis has really gotten worse. Some people are talking about a return to normalcy. That's not true. Things have really gotten worse. And when you look at what happened on January 14, when the people of the Mbororo group were attacked, they are suspecting that the Ambazonian restoration forces are the ones who attacked them. We hear over 14 people were killed, women and children, in Gidado area of Ndu. But the Ambazonian restoration forces have not accepted responsibility for the killings. But the Mbororo people and some government officials of La République du Cameroon are accusing Ambazonian restoration forces for committing this crime. But as we speak, the Ambazonian restoration forces have not accepted responsibility for killing those people. We think the people of La République du Cameroon are just guessing and just trying to look for a way to shift blame. It's the same way when the Gabon massacre happened many years ago. They attacked other people, only for us to realize after a lot of research that the forces of Paul Biya, they were the ones who actually killed these people in Gabon with the help of the Mbororo people. That's what happened. So people are just assuming that probably because the Mbororo people have been working with the military in La République du Cameroon, so they are making themselves a target by the Ambazonian restoration forces. But this is just an assumption. Are we going to report news by making assumptions, or we're going to base our news on facts? That's what this channel is about. We think we have to focus on facts, but we want to put things in perspective. The Ambazonian crisis, we want you to look at the history. We look at the causes. What are the causes? The root causes of the Ambazonian crisis have to do with marginalization, which has historical antecedents, historical roots. The people of the Northwest and Southwest feel that they are marginalized in La République du Cameroon. Before, you had a United Republic of Cameroon. Biya changed the name to La République du Cameroon, which is to be the former name of East Cameroon. Then the people felt that, well, we need to change the form of state. We are second-class citizens in our own country. Why is it that we are protesting? Because we are lawyers, we are students, we are teachers. We do not want Francophones to teach in our schools. We do not want the French courts to be implemented in our area. Civil law versus common law. We grew up in the Anglophone tradition, so we want the Anglophone tradition to reign. Why are we forced to use civil law, which is not the same as common law? We are Anglophones. We have a British heritage. We want to keep this British heritage. Why are Francophones forcing us to get rid of our British heritage and take over their civil law system? That's the problem. When lawyers started protesting, they were beaten by forces of Pobia. This is a simple problem. In a country where the government is responsible and cares about its people, this would not have been a serious problem. But the way Biya handles things, Biya believes in force. Biya ne négocie pas. Il agresse. Il tape. Il tue. C'est sa manière de faire les choses. That's Biya's message. He doesn't negotiate with anybody. He doesn't believe in peace. He doesn't believe in dialogue. Even when matters came to a head and we were warning, said things will get worse, do something about this Ambazonian problem. What did Mr. Biya do? He organized a fake national dialogue, which many people call a monologue. Biya will not accept to discuss the problem with Anglophones. And this is what the problem is all about. He looks for ways to use force to kill the problem. But you cannot kill an idea. The people are asking for a change in the form of state. Anglophones came into a marriage with Francophones as equals. Unfortunately, whatever happened in Fumban is a fiasco. They are not treated as first-class citizens in their own country. They are treated as second-class citizens. They have been dealing with this problem for so long. They have tried to make the problem heard by the government, but the government doesn't want to listen. So they prefer just to kill them. Over 10,000 Anglophones have been killed since 2016 alone. I don't want to go further behind. You think that has solved the problem? They've killed a lot of young people in that whole area. Has that solved the problem? It has not. If you've been watching our channel, we have information for you. More and more people are being killed. Sometimes people just ignore the problem in Ambazonia. It doesn't mean that people are not dying every day. The truth is, people are dying every day. They are not reporting it. We are always reporting it. People are dying every day. So it just takes a big story, like the story now in Gidado area, where a lot of Mbororo people have been killed. But we report on Ambazonia every week on this show. We report on Cameroon problems. Okay? So now you see exactly the way things are happening. So don't look at the killings in Gidado as an isolated incident. No. It fits into a regional chain reaction. And we want to show you the Mbororo people. Now it is like Ambazonia versus Mbororo Mafia. The Mbororo people have become part of a mafia. The Ambazonian people have been complaining about the government. This has nothing to do with Mbororo people. But the Mbororo people have brought themselves into this problem. So they should not behave as if they are saints. If the Mbororo people were good people, they should have just stayed away and let the Ambazonian people deal with the government of La République du Cameroon. But they forced themselves into a problem. Instead of making their livelihood, sharing resources, because the Mbororo people are strangers to the northwest area. They are foreigners. They are not original habitats of this area. They were welcomed with open arms. They could graze and raise their families. But now they are working as government spies. And that's what is creating a lot of tensions in the area. The people of the Northwest love the Mbororo people. But the Mbororo people are now working as government agents. So if they are being targeted, that probably might be the reason why they are being targeted. But do we have evidence to show that the people who killed people in Gidado area were Ambazonian restoration fighters? We don't have any proof. A lot of seasoned journalists are suspecting that the Paul Biya regime must have killed these people the way they always do. Then they look for a way to heap the blame on the Ambazonian restoration fighters. Because the Ambazonian restoration fighters have not accepted responsibility for this crime. If they were the ones who committed this crime, we think they should have accepted, they should have taken responsibility. If they have not taken responsibility, so it looks as if the Paul Biya regime send their forces to go and kill those people, then look for ways to put the blame on the Ambazonian restoration fighters. So this may be a way to push the Mbororo people to fight against the Ambazonian people. When the two people are fighting, who wins? The government wins. Okay? The government wins. The government has been arming the Mbororo people. So he who dies by the sword lives by the sword, right? Or to say it the other way, he who lives by the sword dies by the sword. If the Mbororo people live by the sword, they will die by the sword. So this incident is not really isolated. As we are presenting it to you now, we've put in a lot of time into this story, and we've shown you the way the story can be grafted on the Ambazonian scene. We took you back to the Ambazonian problem. We showed you the root causes, then the way the problem has gotten really worse, and things may even get worse as the days go by. But we'll show you now that for the first time, you begin to see the linkage. The Mbororo are against the people of Ambazonia. So the Mbororo are people who are not only in Cameroon, the northwest area, they are also in the north. Okay? They are also in the north. Then you go to the Central African Republic. The Mbororo people are there too. I'm sure the Central African Republic really collapsed, became a failed state before the Soviet, the Russians got in. Okay? That area in Cameroon, the east, has always been in serious trouble. The Central African Republic, it has been a failed state. You had, since the downfall of Francois Bozizis, who is a Christian, after he was deposed, he escaped to Cameroon and went into exile. Then, of course, you have what they call the Seleka. This is a group of rebels who are of Muslim extraction. So a lot of the Mbororo people also made friends with these rebels. Then they started fighting against the Christians who are part of what they call the anti-Balaka. So that's another area where you see the way the Mbororo people create problems for themselves. You are living based on livestock, open grazing. You have problems with farmers. Farmers have their land. You cannot just encroach on their land and expect them to keep quiet. So this is competition for resources. But you, the Mbororo people, you should not just be fighting for power. You should also be thinking about making room for the people who are farmers. Like the anti-Balaka, matters came to a head because the Mbororo people were siding with the Seleka group. So they became a target. And that's why the anti-Balaka, anti-Machete, anti-Bullet movement started in the Central African Republic. So the same thing is happening to the Mbororo people. Wherever they go, they create problems. They are rich because they sell a lot of livestock for big money. But they should really focus on commerce. They should leave politics alone. The problem here is the Mbororo people are not leaving politics alone. They become part of the fabric wherever they go. They want to have power. So they start selling out the Christians. So now what is happening in this area now, it becomes more like, is it a jihad or a crusade? The Christians do not really want to fight a holy war. But when you bring war to them, they have to profess their faith as Christians because they believe in Christ. These other people believe in Muhammad. Does Muhammad teach you to kill people? I don't think so. The Quran talks about peace. But when you look at what the Seleka are doing in this part of the world. They are fighting and killing people. As a result, the Christians anti-Balaka movement was formed. And the movement now starts wreaking vengeance on the Seleka. And that's how the Central African Republic has been torn apart. So when you start looking the way I'm presenting things, you begin to see a regional chain reaction, starting from the Central African Republic, when the Seleka Mbororo people were chased out of Central African Republic. Then they came now to Cameroon and Nigeria, which is why you see that Nigeria too has become a hotbed of violence, conflict between Christians and Muslims. And you see it the way the bandits are killing people, the Mbororo people are killing people, because when you are a farmer, if you don't let the Mbororo people graze on your farm, you become a target. Because most of these pastoralists now have guns. So they are vigilantes. They carry guns. They have their groups. They kill farmers who try to oppose them. So that's why you have a lot of killing in this part of the world. So those who don't understand, we're trying to explain things in simple terms so that you can really make sense of what is happening here. It's true you have bandits in Nigeria, but the problem has to do more with herders and farmers, especially in the Middle Belt. You see a lot of killings. Donald Trump had to even get into action because he was tired of watching videos of Muslims killing Christians every day in Nigeria. So he had to do something about it, which is why on Christmas Day, he gave Nigeria a gift. Bola Tinubu, you are a Muslim. Your Muslim brothers cannot continue killing Christians. No, this must end. Unfortunately, Bola Tinubu has been spending so much time focusing on re-election efforts in 2027. This is what he cares about. Nigerians are crying, poverty, inflation. He doesn't care. He's trying to pull money from different resources to fight and win the election in that part of the world. Okay, he wants to run again. So he's doing everything possible to win the vote. So issues like economic problems do not really concern Bola Tinubu. The standard of living is not really high, but the cost of living is high. Nigerians are complaining every day. Do you think Bola Tinubu has time to listen to Nigerians' complaints? No. He only has time to plan for re-election in 2027. That's what is on his mind. But at least Christians are fortunate to have a brother in Donald Trump. Donald Trump has been putting pressure. He bombed the Sokoto area, and he's promising to bomb Nigeria again if Bola Tinubu is not doing anything. So Bola Tinubu has been told to wake up from his slumber. If you've been sleeping, if you've not been caring about insecurity in Nigeria, Donald Trump has told you that, wake up. If you cannot protect Christians in Nigeria, we will. We will come after you and protect them. So as we speak, the United States is sending planes to take care of Nigeria. They are monitoring the movements of only on politicking, planning for re-election in 2027. Donald Trump is saying, pay attention to insecurity. The Mbororo people are killing Christians. You are not doing anything about it. Every day you only hear, oh, these Christians have been killed. They go to a church, slaughter people. I was really shocked the last time I saw pictures of Christians carrying guns in their church. Why? They are worshiping with guns because they know that the Mbororo people may come and take them out at any time. So they are carrying guns for protection. Okay? So you see exactly the way things are working in this part of the world. So the Mbororo people have been causing a whole lot of trouble wherever they went. We've shown you the way they've created problems in La Republic of Cameroon. We've shown you the way they've created problems in the Central African Republic. Then we're also showing you how they create problems in Nigeria. So you begin to see that there's a pattern. This regional chain reaction. The Mbororo people are not saints. Some people are asking, oh, look at what happened in Gidado. So many people have been killed. The Mbororo people have been killed. They are innocent. They are not really innocent. Because they are sleeping with the enemy, they are creating problems for themselves. If you live in a glass house, do not throw stones. That's the message. So the Mbororo people have to learn to live in peace with their neighbors. For example, when the Mbororo people went to Cameroon, the people in the northwest welcomed them as brothers. They allowed them to take part in the commerce in that area because they were paying taxes, so that was good for the government. But when they started acting as informants, they started creating problems for themselves. From the very beginning, when the war in Ambazonia started, the Ambazonians were not targeting the people of Mbororo. But because the people of Mbororo have got into a mafia, that's why they are creating problems for themselves. When the war started, the people were complaining about marginalization. They were targeting the military. They were not targeting the Mbororo people. If today the Ambazonian restoration fighters are targeting the Mbororo people, probably it is because they are perceiving the Mbororo people to be enemies, to be the same as the military. If you can take the military to where I live, show them where I'm hiding, and they kill me, then I know that you are a problem. The few weeks that we've just seen in this new year, they have shown that the Mbororo people have been working with the military. So the militarization of this conflict is creating a whole lot of tension. Most people continue to ask, why are the Mbororo people so much in the news? Why are they victims? They are not victims. Some people may want to say, oh, they are victims of circumstance. No, they are actors. By fighting alongside the Cameroon military, the Mbororo people are showing that they are enemies of the Ambazonian people. You come to my house, I give you shelter, room and shelter, then you start fighting with my enemy to kill me so that you can take away my house from me. Is that fair? We don't think so. That's really what is really happening now in Ambazonia. The problem is that the military of La République du Cameroon has been killing restoration forces. Now, the Mbororo people have joined the government to kill the Ambazonian restoration forces. And this is a problem. But we will not condone the killing of the Mbororo people because we don't really condemn them softly. We don't like people who kill other people. So even on this show, we should condemn when people are killed. We don't like people to kill people. So that's not good. We believe with our moral authority that we should solve problems peacefully. And that's what we've been advocating. That's what we've been telling the Paul Biya regime. Do not just use force to kill people. Look for a way to solve this problem peacefully. Unfortunately, the Nigerian government also made a lot of mistakes, which we have to address on this show today. During the period of Muhammadu Buhari, the Nira 10, those are the Ambazonian government under Sisiku Julius Ayoktabe, were arrested in Nira Hotel and taken to La République Cameroon. So this was a diabolical kind of deal. The Cameroon government paid Buhari a lot of money so that he should violate international law and fly these people who are asylum seekers in Nigeria to La République Cameroon to be killed. Fortunately, they were not killed, but they were tortured, even as we speak to you today. Sisiku Ayoktabe appeared with his team at this military court. Is this fair justice? No. They cannot get a fair trial. Every time they keep adjourning their case. Oh, now they've adjourned it until March. How long are these people going to stay in dungeons in Cameroon? When there's injustice, this creates tension. And this is what is happening now in this area. Cameroon, Central African Republic, Nigeria. There is jihadist activity. Then, of course, the Christians have to react. They have to come up with a solution. If you keep killing us, we're not just going to sleep and watch you kill us. We have to do something about it. And that's what the Christians are doing. So if you think they will sit and just watch the Mbororo people kill them, it's not going to happen that way. When we look at what happened in Gabon, the Gabon massacre, we talk about it on this show. We talk about the anniversary of the Gabon massacre on this show, and we think is something that we cannot forget. Those families are still living with pain. So let's not just complain about the pain the Mbororo people are suffering. Let's talk about the pain the people of Ambazonia are suffering after the Ngabu massacre. I saw a guy holding his burned baby who was killed in Gabu, and I could not believe it. I said, just imagine, this is me holding my baby. I wept when I saw the father holding his child. When you do things to people. So let's not accept what happened in Gidado, but let's also remember Ngabu, because that was a terrible massacre too. So you do me, I do you. That's probably the Muslim way. In the Bible, we believe in love. So we don't like when people are killed. So the Pope sent a good year message and is asking for an end to violence. But how can violence end when there's no justice? That's what the people in La République du Cameroon need to understand. Justice has to precede peace. Okay? Peace has to come. Peace has to come. But before peace can come, justice must be administered in this part of the world. Justice means the wrongs that were done to Anglophones have to be corrected. You cannot just tell them, go back to normalcy, the way the Cameroon government is saying. No, the people will continue complaining. Then, of course, the issue now with Issa Chiroma. We'll end the show of today by talking about Issa Chiroma. He won the election on October 12th, but his victory was stolen from him. What did he do? Now he is in Gambia. We told you so. What do you think he's preparing? I would say he's not preparing something good. Remember, Issa Chiroma belongs to these Mbororo people, Fulani. So, if he comes back to Cameroon, do you think he's going to come back to Cameroon peacefully? So, Cameroon is going to complicate the problem that is happening now in the country. Because he will go to the north of the country, then the Mbororos will start rebelling now against the central government. And that's why the government in Cameroon is now like in a form of paralysis. They are not doing anything. People are waiting for the new government to be formed. But Biya cannot form a new government because he's weak. He's weak. We saw a military plane that is supposed to evacuate him to Switzerland. People are still waiting for Godot, waiting for the new cabinet. When is Biya going to release the ministers who have been appointed in his new cabinet? Well, we'll have to continue waiting. How long are we going to wait? We have to continue waiting. So this is sad, and we'll tell you something has to be done. We have to work for justice before peace can come. So we'll tell you, watch this show. If you think we've raised issues that are important to you, like the video, share the video with your friends and family. Thank you very much.
Selling a service or a product? Need buyers? Use the African Nation TV as a channel to reach many viewers. Act now and call Prince Ojong at 240-350-1131. That's 240-350-1131. Act today.